get a quality, like the quality of people that were at that event were it was phenomenal. Like that's a great thing that everyone there is
and there was a little bit. There was a little bit of everything. I mean, there were like probably 8 to 12 really good, solid recruiters, and then a room full of people that were either just A, looking for a gig, or B, just looking to meet people or get hired. It's like I said. I mean, the cool thing. So that was the funny part about the thing at Falling Down is it was too difficult to park. And yet there were 6 people that showed up for no other reason than just to say, hey, thanks. Got a job in the last 2 months because of your events.
That was phenomenal. People just walking up saying,
so they weren't even there to find a job or looking to hire anybody, or they weren't even really looking to network. They were looking for one of us,
right?
To
walk up and say thank you.
And there were two of the recruiters that were there.
I mean, how cool with the holidays coming up? I mean, that's the whole reason we do this when we get up in the morning is that paying back, not to the car. We joke about the karma thing, but dude, that's 6 families that can have a normal Christmas this year.
Well, it's like we always talk about. There was right after our second Pink Slip party back in August of 2009 that we did over at Commune. There was the guy that showed up at the Blackfin the very next month. And he was a little bit early, and you and I were standing there because it was like 4 something, and we were just there, early hanging out, and started going into the whole, hey, what are you looking for? What can I help you with? Spiel. And he was like, no. He's like, look, I'm actually stopping by here on the way back from the the recruiter office where I just signed a job.
I remember this.
I signed a job offer. I'm going to be making more money than I've ever made before in my life. I've been out of work for 8 months. You just saved my house. You probably saved my marriage.
Yep.
I just wanted to stop by, shake your hand, buy a beer, and say thanks.
Yeah.
Really? I mean that's and that's the thing. I mean, and that's the worst part is so literally, that whole thing in the LinkedIn group, about the parking evolved right after I just gotten done posting on Facebook, for all the crap, all the whining I do about, the time sink it is, and and the people and the craziness and the madness, it's stuff like those 6 people walking up that makes it totally all worth it, and then one motard comes along.
Well, right. And Bob, the good analogy is golfing, right? Bad swing, I hate this game. Bad swing, I hate this game. Great swing, hole in one.
That's what keeps you coming back.
That's what keeps you coming back.
All it is
right?
that one perfect drive.
Exactly, it keeps you coming back.
The one thank you that you get makes it all worth it.
Right.
It does.
So what else is going on? Thanksgiving's coming up.
That's right. Yeah, by the way, I'm driving to upstate New York on Wednesday, and apparently there's going to be some awesome weather through the entire province of Ontario. That's going to be fun.
Good luck with that. Actually, so here's a good one, and this is one that hit both Bob and I. Just one of the things, like we know that people listen to our show because even though you raging fools will never call us.
Nobody listens.
Yeah. Other than Haase.
Well, no, but it made us laugh. So so you were asking about Thursday night. So Thursday night, left Falling Down Beer Company after the event was over and went over to Tipsy McStaggers.
Went over to Tipsy's.
Well, so I'm hanging out there, and I walk up to the karaoke DJ because there's a karaoke DJ.
You didn't do the Humpty Dance.
Of course I did the Humpty Dance.
Of course you did.
But that's not the point of the story. So the point of the story is
sidebar.
Yeah. So
that'll be our third segment.
Right. Yeah, one of these days I will get that song on one of the break lists. But no, so he looks at me and he's like, "Hey, this is going to sound like a weird question." And I'm like, "Dude, there are no weird questions anymore. Shoot." And he's like, "Are you in IT?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Do you run a networking group?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Are you one of the guys from that IT and the D show?" And I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, oh, I listen to you guys all the time. It's awesome.
Fantastic. He's the one.
No, so then yesterday, we get to wrestling with the XICW guys, and we're unloading the tables out of the back of the Bob's car. And one of the security guy goes, dude, he's like, you guys are effing hilarious, man. He's like, I'm sitting there in McDonald's, because he works at McDonald's in the drive-thru, and he's like, and I got you guys plugged in. And he's like, and I'm laughing my ass off. And he's like, and people are like coming by and asking me, what the hell are you listening to? And he's like, oh, these 3 idiots that come to our wrestling.
So my life is taking
crossing the streams, Egon.
My life is taking a weird left turn when we can't put the baby in the Ford Flex because I have 3 wooden tables that are
priorities, Bob. Priorities.
They're going to get destroyed at a wrestling event. It's like, no, baby, you got to take my VW because the van is full with wrestling stuff. Like, what is wrong with me? I'm a grown man, for crying out loud.
Actually, no, you're not.
Don't even get started on the whole blue tarp water thing. That's I tried to explain that to someone today who's at work who was just asking why I was so exhausted today.
Yeah, what is wrong with
your
you?
Weekend activities?
Yeah, exactly. And B, so what brings you to this whole wrestling thing and why are you involved in it? I'm like, so I tell them the whole story, and then I'm like, oh, they're like, and everybody got all worked up, it was a blue tarp water, and they're like, what?
Just mention the domain. That'll get more traffic than any
Right.
wrestling site.
Like, you idiots made shirts. Or like,
Oh yeah, Bob had shirts made. Great.
You have Blue Tarp Water shirts made?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, best logo I've ever made in my life.
No,
It
so
was hilarious.
backstory-
Did Paul make it?
No, I did.
Even better.
no, so backstory.
In MS Paint?
The bar that the wrestling is held at, they have holes in the roof all the time. Instead of fixing it like a normal establishment, they put blue tarps up there and it collects rainwater
Fantastic.
inside the bar and it drips like on everyone, and it's the most nasty. So we always joked about it. So now we had fans get to pick the stipulation. So we did loser drinks blue tarp water, and it became like this huge shtick that it makes me giggle, but everybody else thinks it's stupid, which I think is great.
Well, and it is, and I mean, it's so yeah. I mean, and that's the other part is we talk about laughingly do stuff in our free time. I mean, we all have lives outside of here, whether it's the wives, kids.
This is your poker night, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't golf anymore. That's what I said. This is my golf money. I don't bowl anymore.
Yeah.
I stopped bowling. I stopped playing golf, or not. I golf like twice a year now. But the things that used to consume all my time now. This is my
This is your other habit.
This is Monday night's bowling night, right?
Right.
Yes, shirts were made.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
You can follow Blue Tarp Water on Twitter at
You can.
At Blue Tarp Water.
Blue Tarp Water. And it has its website, right?
No, not yet. No, it's just part of the fun.
So what's been going on in IT news locally? What's
Actually, locally, I'm not sure, but the one that really kind of creeps me out that I want to make sure we hit on is there's this whole rash and spate lately of fake tech support calls that are going on.
Yeah,
Well, that was a whole
that?
Microsoft
So
thing.
it's
I don't know how
people calling, spoofing a 206 area code, and then basically, number one, I mean, you should know tech support is never going to call you, just like the IRS is never going to call you and ask for your social security number, that kind of stuff.
Right. They should know this.
Right. So, but they're kind of preying on the older, demographic that doesn't necessarily, know and isn't as familiar with this stuff.
Right.
And so they're calling up and saying, hey, we've detected a problem with your system. This is Microsoft tech support. We'd like to get in and fix it for you.
Do you get calls from your bank all the time, like talking about fraudulent activity?
Every now and then, yeah.
Yeah. Those always creep me out too. Like, who the hell are you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I still like.
Yeah, you don't know. It's a legitimate, call.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, like I told you, I mean, so it was the dumbest thing when I signed us up on SoundCloud. So
Right.
and they're based out of Germany. So I
did not know this.
Yeah, so I paid
like
for the
Trader Joe's.
Yeah, so I paid for the SoundCloud subscription, and then like LinkedIn, which is in Mountain View, California.
Right.
So those two charges came through within like 2 minutes of each other.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
then dumb
you
thing.
get a call.
No, even better. So I'm leaving the house and I stop and I go to get gas.
card
And
denied.
right. And so I'm like, what in the hell?
Now you think you got hacked.
Right. So, and like literally, and I'm picking up my phone to start calling them, and I've got, bam, 2 emails from Bank of America.
Yep.
That basically say, hey, we've detected unusual activity. Please call us. And I'm like, oh, for the love of God. So I'm like, all right, you know what? The nice thing about my gas paranoia is that I never let myself get below half a tank. So I'm like, I don't really need to get gas now. I'm good.
Right.
So I have a different gas paranoia. But
Yeah, we all have gas paranoia about you.
Yeah. My gas paranoia is sitting right next to me.
you know which one drove me nuts the other day? Like I went on, was it Logo?
Well, no.
Bench?
So let me.
Oh, go ahead,
So I'm finishing. I drive and I call them up and they're like, oh, and it's a whole automated
Right,
system
yep.
where did you is this a valid transaction? Is that a valid they make you verify like your last 3 transactions, and it's weird. And I'm like, so how do you're a bank? How do you not recognize the online world and know that from my past? Okay, so if it's all about pattern and history. I shop at Amazon. I buy stuff online all the time. Why would that even be a flag for you?
Well, it's interesting about that too, because when Steph and I got married and we switched over all of our accounts around, we settled with National City, which is now PNC. We travel all the time up and down the Eastern Seaboard to see her family. And our purchase history was always about Metro Detroit,
Right.
Metro Detroit. And we started taking these trips out to D.C. or upstate New York or whatever. And just like you, we stopped at a gas station. We were stopping at 7-Elevens. We were stopping at rest stops or whatever. And boom, all of a sudden my car got denied at a gas station somewhere in Podunk, upstate New York.
I used to have to
for the
call-
same type of thing because, I would call PNC and they'd say, well, you're out of your purchase zone. My purchase zone?
I used to have to call the bank every time I traveled when I'd go to Japan and Germany and Mexico City and all that.
Right.
I'd literally have to call the bank every time going, or Bo would
Just
say,
like-
Just a heads up.
Just to let them
I'm
know.
going to be in.
My husband's going to Japan. Don't turn his crap off.
Yeah, exactly.
So that when I filled out a form on Logo Bench, right, because we were doing some crap for logo work, The guy, I get a phone call while I'm filling the form out, didn't hit submit yet, didn't pay for anything yet, and it's them.
No, wasn't that?
And it's not, you know,
no, wasn't that LegalZoom?
They did it too.
Yeah.
They did it too. That drove me, and I was so not receptive. I did not want to talk to him. I'm like,
how do they even know?
well, as I'm filling out the form, they can see.
Oh, it's
With the right
form.
Well, yeah. So yeah, with the right Ajax query, you've got it there. But
So what's going on with the fake tech support calls?
Well, so the fake tech support calls and they say, hey, we're Microsoft Tech Support. We've detected a problem with your system. Please open up your browser and go to whatever logmein123.com or whatever the other site is, and basically they hook in and take control of your computer. Well, it's not Microsoft Tech Support. It's hackers and scammers, and you've just given them full access to your entire system. The offshoot of that, though, that was really concerning was there was a friend of mine at work her Yahoo account, her Yahoo email account got hacked. So she calls Yahoo Tech Support.
All that work, though, for what?
Well, because you're hoping to find a password file. You're hoping to find somebody's banking
or at the very least, they turn your computer into
another
drone.
zombie Trojan.
Yeah.
So first she calls her ISP, and the ISP says, "Well, there's not really anything we can do about it. So let's do a guided session." So they hook into her computer and take her to Yahoo.com and say, "Okay, here's the tech support phone number." I want to stress that called the tech support phone number on Yahoo's website. So she calls, and the guy says, "Oh, well, yeah." He's like, "No problem. We can walk you through this. No big deal." So she hangs up with her ISP, and he says, "Yeah, just go to this website, logmein123.com." And so while she's on the phone with him, and this guy starts going through files on her system, and starts asking her questions about, what is this file? What is that file? What's that folder? What's this folder? So she's starting to get a little bit creeped out. So she picks up her phone and starts calling her ISP back, and the dude says, "Who are you calling?" He'd activated her webcam that was built into her laptop.
Oh my God.
So needless to say, she completely wigs out, basically slams the thing shut and throws it across the room. Calls her ISP back and they're like, "Yeah, you basically your entire computer's host. Just don't trust anything on it.
Unplug from the web.
Change all your passwords, do everything. If you have your emergency restore CD, put it in, reburn it.
Oh my God.
Take it out and just put a hammer through the hard drive.
Yeah. But the really, the weird, or not weird, but concerning thing to me about that is that, she tells me the story and I'm like, God, that's really the phone number off Google. That's ridiculous off Yahoo's website. I go Googling. It's been happening to people since at least August. That same scenario, same situation. There are complaints on, whether it's Google Talk threads or in
but
groups.
The whole thing is predicated by the fact that somebody will actually answer the call and believe them at their word, right? So they can't do anything until.
So the Microsoft Tech Support thing is someone calling you.
Right.
The problem with this one is that you're calling Yahoo what you think is Yahoo Tech Support, but someone has apparently.
So the question is how they're getting that phone number. How are they hijacking that phone number?
They're taking over that phone number, rerouting it to.
We need to get Kevin Mitnick in here.
Right. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we are up on a break. This is.
Oh God! Already? Yeah.
Yeah. This is the IT and the D show.
We'll be right back.
Been in a cockpit before?
No, sir, I've never been up in a plane before.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
You guys in the emergency room, huh?
Hello, pretty lady. Tell me something. What's a beautiful broad like you doing with a malacca like this, huh?
It's purely sexual.
No,
She's into malaccas, Dino.
she's into malacas. Do you believe that?
What's this, sir? Drink it. This is speaking of drinking it. We
Fats, man. I'm gonna tell you my story, man.
Give me the keys. Give me the keys, Lisa. I'll drive.
He doesn't even have his license, Lisa.
He doesn't have his license, Lisa.
We're officially legally. We can drink legally. This is episode 21.
And yet, Bob and I don't feel like drinking.
No, not after yesterday. Yesterday was bad.
Yeah, Haase and I are the only ones drinking here. We bought a 12-pack, and we're kind of killing it off. You're over there drinking Red Bull. You're not even drinking anything.
There's a few restaurants that I've gone to in the past that and I've ask the waitress, has anyone ever felt good after eating here? And that's how every time I go to the Ritz, it's like, I don't